Good afternoon, sir. I'm going to report reason and impartiality. According to de Guzman et al. 2017, humans have not only humans have not only feelings but also reason, and reason plays a vital role in ethics. In fact, moral truths are truths of reason. That is, a moral judgment is true if it is espoused by better reasons than the alternatives. Um, Reason is the basis motive for an action, decision, or conviction. When we say conviction, it is a moral conviction refers to the perception that one's feelings about a given attitude, object, or based on one's beliefs about right and wrong. Holding an attitude with moral conviction means that a person has attached moral significance to it. And impartiality involves the idea that each individual's interests and point of view are equal or equally important. It is a principle of justice. Impartiality in morality requires that we give equal and or adequate consideration to the interests of all concerned parties. It assumes that every person, generally speaking, is equally important. That is, no one is seen as intrinsically more significant than anyone else.
Think objectivity is the equality of being unbiased and objective in creating moral decision, underscoring that a morally or impartial person makes moral decision relative to the welfare of the majority and not for specific people alone. According to D. Guzman et al. 2017, impartiality involves the idea that each individual's interests and point of view are equally important, also called even-handedness or fair-mindedness. Impartiality is a principle of justice, holding that decision ought to be based on objective criteria rather than a basis of bias, prejudice, or preferring the benefits to the one person over another for improper reasons. Impartiality in morality requires that we give equal and or adequate consideration. Impartiality means the equality of not being biased or prejudice or fairness. Or we selected the debate moderators based on their reputation for integrity and impartiality. Mm, the example of the impartiality is the fact of not supporting any of the sides involved in argument or away. The impartiality of ethics is a democratic ethical principle that official judgments and reports should be based on objective and relevant criteria without bias or prejudice and not take sides. Like dili siya mo laban sa pikas-pikas. Like was fair, not fair, dili bias. In ethics is impartiality important is they require us to make decision based on the objective criteria rather than a bias. Ano siya? Like example if in impartiality in everyday life is a teacher can be impartial with regard to a group. For example, the student in her class in respect like that. For example, like grading their exam, but not impartial in different respects, such as calling on them in class for she may favor boys or over girls in this respect. Impartiality, impartiality is in the case of moral judgments, they require backing by reason. Thus, reason comments with it comments regardless for our feelings, attitudes, opinions, and desires. Impartiality involves the idea that each individual's interests and point of view are equally important. I suggest in the moral value of impartiality is each individual's differences are equally important and no one should get special treatment. And that's all. Thank you. And or adequate consideration to the interests of all concerned parties. The principles of impartiality assumes that every person, generally speaking, is equally important. That is, no one is seen as intrinsically more significant than anyone else. Other ethicists, however, suggest that some clarification is required. From the impartial standpoint, to say that no one is seen in intrinsically more significant than anyone else. It is not say that there is no reason whatsoever for which an individual might demand more moral attention or better treatment than others. Many atheists suppose that from the impartial point of view, properly conceived, some persons count as more significant, at least in certain ways. A virtuous and respectable religious leader may be supposed to be more significant than a mere maid. So an emergency 9 says a building on fire, the sent religious leader ought to be rescued first. The reason, nonetheless, is not that the religious leader is intrinsically more significant. Rather, it is the makes greater contribution to the society. Dicusman et al. 2017.
Good day, everyone. I would like to present my report. My report is Why Reason and Impartiality to Minimum Requirements Morality. Is someone telling us that a certain action is immoral? We ask why it is so, and if then is reasonable answer, we might discard the profession as absurd. Also, if somebody utters that a particular act is wrong and explains that it is because it does not happen to fit his test, then we also do not count his claim as legitimate ethical judgment. Clearly, those reason is a necessary requirement for morality. D. Gosman et al. 2017. Why reason and impartiality the minimum requirements of morality? B. Emphasizing reason and impartiality, morality aims to provide a common framework for ethical judgment that can be understood and accepted by people from different cultural, religious, or philosophical backgrounds. These principles helps to create a foundation for ethical decisions and societal norms that promote fairness and the well-being of individuals and communities. In the article Impartiality, it was stated that only respect in which morality requires impartiality is with respect to violating moral rules. For example, those rules prohibiting killing, causing pain, deceiving, and breaking promises. Kung breaking promises, so causing pain is tissue damage when body tissues are required. Tissues are enjoyed. So, gaining deceiving is to make someone believe something that is not true. It is only with regard to these kinds of moral rules, those that can be formulated as prohibitions, that it is humanly possible to act impartially with regard to group large enough to be an appreciated group. as stated in the article reasoning and impartiality as minimum requirement for morality. Reason and impartiality become the basic prerequisite for morality as one is exempted to be able to deliver clear, concise, rightful, and appropriate judgment made out of logic and understanding is an unbiased and unprejudiced manner, while considering the general welfare to accurately concoct moral decision. Concoct moral decision is from the word concoct is combining the different words.